The tiny alien girl, no taller than a human's hand, trembled as she hid behind a cluster of glowing crystals. Her luminescent skin, a soft shade of violet, pulsed faintly with her fear. She had heard the stories, terrifying tales of the humans, giant creatures from a distant world who devoured everything in their path. And now, one of them was here, on her planet. The human's heavy footsteps echoed through the cavern, each thud sending vibrations through the ground that made her delicate antennae quiver. She peeked out from her hiding spot, her large, almond-shaped eyes widening as she caught sight of the towering figure. The human was massive, easily 10 times her size, with broad shoulders and a face that seemed both fierce and strangely expressive. Its eyes scanned the cavern, and for a moment, she thought it had spotted her. She ducked back behind the crystals, her heart racing. What does it want? She wondered. Is it here to eat me? To destroy my home? Her people, the Lumine, were peaceful and small, no match for the might of a human. She had to escape, but the only exit was blocked by the human's imposing figure. The human crouched down, its massive hand reaching toward the crystals. She froze, her breath catching in her throat. This was it. She was going to be devoured. But instead of grabbing her, the human gently picked up one of the crystals, examining it with what seemed like curiosity. Its expression softened, and it let out a low, rumbling sound that she realized was a laugh. Wow, the human muttered, its voice deep but not unkind. These are incredible. Like nothing I've ever seen before. The alien girl blinked in surprise. The human wasn't attacking. It wasn't even looking for her. It was admiring the crystals. She hesitated, then took a cautious step forward, her tiny feet barely making a sound on the soft, mossy ground. The human's sharp eyes caught the movement, and it turned its gaze toward her. She froze again, her body instinctively glowing brighter in her fear. But the human didn't lunge or roar. Instead, it tilted its head, its expression shifting to one of wonder. "Hey there," the human said softly, its voice surprisingly gentle. "I didn't mean to scare you. Are you okay?" She stared up at the giant, her antennae twitching in confusion. It was talking to her? And it sounded kind? She took another tentative step forward, her glowing skin dimming slightly as her fear began to ebb. I'm okay," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. The human's eyes widened in surprise, and it leaned closer, its massive face now just a few feet from hers. "You can talk?" it asked, its tone filled with amazement. "That's incredible. I'm sorry if I scared you. I didn't know anyone was here." She hesitated, then nodded. I thought you were going to eat me," she admitted, her voice trembling. The human blinked, then let out another rumbling laugh. "Eat you? No way. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm just exploring. My name's Alex. What's yours?" "I'm Luma," she said, still unsure whether to trust this giant. But something about its demeanor put her at ease. It didn't seem like the monster from the stories. "Luma," Alex repeated, smiling. "That's a beautiful name. It suits you." The human sat down, its massive frame making the ground shake slightly. "I didn't mean to intrude. I was just curious about this place. Your planet is amazing." Luma's fear continued to fade as she studied the human. Its eyes were warm, and its smile was genuine. Maybe the stories were wrong. Maybe humans weren't all bad. You really aren't here to hurt us?" she asked, her voice still soft but filled with hope. "Not at all," Alex said firmly. "I'm here to learn, to explore. I'd never harm anyone who didn't mean me harm. And you're incredible. I've never met anyone like you. Luma felt a warmth spread through her, her glow shifting to a softer, more content hue. She stepped closer, her tiny hand reaching out to touch the human's outstretched finger. It was warm and rough, but gentle. "Thank you," she said, her voice steady now. "For not being what I feared." Alex smiled again, its eyes crinkling at the corners. "Thank you for giving me a chance. I'd love to learn more about you and your people, if you're willing to share." Luma nodded, a smile spreading across her delicate features. "I'd like that." Over the next few days, Luma introduced Alex to her world. She showed the human the bioluminescent forests, the crystal-clear rivers, and the towering spires of her people's homes. Alex was fascinated by everything, asking endless questions and marveling at the beauty of Luma's planet. In return, Alex shared stories of Earth, its vast oceans, towering mountains, and diverse cultures. Luma listened in awe, her fears completely replaced by admiration and curiosity. She realized that humans weren't the monsters she had been taught to fear. They were complex, emotional beings, capable of both great destruction and incredible kindness. One evening, as they sat together watching the twin suns set, Luma turned to Alex. "I'm glad you came here," she said softly. "You've shown me that there's so much more to the universe than I ever imagined." Alex smiled, its eyes reflecting the fading light. "I'm glad I came too. You've shown me that even the smallest beings can have the biggest hearts." As the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Luma felt a sense of peace she had never known before. The human she had once feared had become her friend, and together, they had bridged the gap between their worlds. Epilogue. Years later, Luma stood at the edge of the forest, watching as a new group of humans arrived on her planet. They were part of an exchange program, collaboration between Earth and the Lumine that had been born from her friendship with Alex. She smiled as she saw the awe on their faces, remembering how she had once felt the same way. Alex stood beside her, now a familiar and beloved presence in her life. "Look how far we've come," the human said, its voice filled with pride. Luma nodded, her glow bright with happiness. "We've shown that even the most different beings can find common ground. And that's the most beautiful thing of all." As the two friends watched the newcomers explore, they knew that their bond had changed not only their lives but the fate of their worlds. And in that moment, Luma realized that sometimes, the things we fear the most can lead to the greatest adventures.